This is the hero of our tale, Aaron, an adventurer from the hero's party. We see him standing in one of the magical labyrinths, killing wild rabbits. He says he's still maintaining his fitness and strength and isn't weak like they say he is. He says he can become a very powerful swordsman. We see him finish off a very large number of wild rabbits. After finishing them, a number of goblins appear. Our hero Aaron then decides to use support magic to boost his strength so he can defeat them. Indeed, he activates the enhancement skill, managing to increase his ability. We learn that this enhancement skill boosts any fighter's skill, making them stronger than before. Also, this enhancement skill can be used on yourself or on your team. We see our hero Aaron attack the goblins and start finishing them. And if you were a mage too, you could increase your magic power using the enhancement skill, but when he finishes the first group of goblins, he's surprised to learn that the enhancement skill has a time limit, 3 minutes. Our hero Aaron tries to finish off all the goblins within that time before the 3 minutes are up. He succeeds in finishing off a large number of them. He says it's natural that a support skill like this can't last for a long period, and whether it lasts or not varies depending on a person's magic resistance. The duration of a support skill stops based on a person's magic resistance. In our hero Aaron's case, the duration for his support magic is 3 minutes. After the duration ends, he renews his support magic skill on himself again and manages to finish off the goblins after. We then go to a flashback and learn that our hero Aaron was expelled from the hero's party he was in because they said he was weak and his level didn't allow him to continue with them. The leader, Oliver, tells him, "We gave you many chances, but you didn't prove your competence." Our hero is of course shocked when he first hears this. He says to them, "So you're just going to eat the meat and throw away the bones?" They decide to expel him and tell him he's become a burden on them and they can't tolerate any more of this. Leader Oliver tells him, "Enough is enough for you. You better leave with your dignity." We learn that our hero Aaron and leader Oliver formed this team about 8 years ago and together managed to bring this team to S rank. They were also the first team to reach the 94th floor of the Southern Great Dome. This team became extremely famous and everyone loved it. Aaron tells Oliver the problem isn't with me, but Oliver interrupts him and says, "Don't try to argue because your level is very..." Last month when we were on a mission in the Domas, your support level was very weak compared to the support magic we saw in the Domas. That's when we confirmed you are a very weak support mage. Aaron tells them, "Originally I was a swordsman and I had to change my profession for your sake to become a support mage." One of the team members says, "You changed your specialty because Oliver Master's sword used better than you and you agreed." Aaron tells them, "I tried to balance between using the sword and support magic." The witch with them tells him, "Don't try, your level is very low whether you're a swordsman or a support mage." Then Oliver tells him, "We've brought a new support mage in your place and you're no longer needed." Our hero is utterly humiliated and it's clear he has no dignity left. He tries to stay with them but is ultimately forced to leave the team. He decides to look for another S-rank team to join. Aaron says to them, "So you're just drugging me like this?" In the end, he agrees to leave their team. But before he leaves, the witch present in the hero's party tells him, "You're a failure at using support magic and the sword too. It's like someone who has more than one job but isn't good at any." We return from the flashback and see our hero Aaron trying to find a style that combines support magic and his sword fighting style to become very powerful. He says one day he'll be able to do that. Afterwards, we see him registering at the instant transportation crystal. He says, "The card I have can take me directly to the 7th floor. Suddenly, he finds a group of adventurers running, clearly fleeing from a monster and terrified. He hears them talking, saying the orc monsters they encountered were very strong. Their leader tells them, "We left the new adventurer who just joined us all alone. I had to save you guys because you're my old friends." Of course, Aaron hears this and is upset, realizing they are utterly cowardly. He tells them, "You are the lowest adventurers I've seen in my life. How could you abandon one of your team members so easily?" The leader of the second team says, "I wouldn't have been able to do anything, and if I had stayed, I would have died with her." He says to Aaron, "How dare you talk to me like that?" and runs at him to hit him. But Aaron grabs his hand and delivers a single suplex, throwing him to the ground. We then go to the adventurer who is standing in front of the giant orc monsters, terrified of them and not knowing how to act. The orc monsters approach her, preparing to finish her off. Immediately, this adventurer creates a magical barrier to repel their attack and prevent them from reaching her. But the orc monsters keep attacking the barrier until they finally succeed in breaking. We see the adventurer scared and crying, saying, "I wish someone was here to save me." A magical whirlwind from the air scatters all these orc monsters, and our hero Aaron attacks them at great speed. However, the orc chieftain blocks his attack. So Aaron decides to use the strength enhancement skill and manages to disappear from in front of him in seconds. The adventurer is astonished that Aaron can use the strength enhancement skill and is also skilled with the sword simultaneously. Afterwards, our hero Aaron attacks the chieftain of the orc monsters and manages to split him in two. Then he uses the support skill on his sword, making it much stronger. We see the orc monsters become enraged after their chieftain dies and run at him to kill. And wow, you feel like he's Superman? He finishes off the first one with a single strike. He realizes how strong these monsters are, which is why her team ran away and left her alone. But he says, no matter how strong they are, there's no way they can defeat. And literally, he keeps moving like a hot knife through butter among them, cutting them down until he finishes them all off. Afterwards, he checks on this adventurer who keeps crying from happiness, not believing she's still alive. When Aaron exits the Damus and leaves her to go, she calls out to him and says, I'm very grateful for your help. By the way, I want to treat you to dinner. Later, Aaron introduces himself to her and she takes him to a very expensive restaurant. She says the money isn't wasted on you. Aaron notices the emblem on her shoulder, and she is a member of a group called the Silver Sky Hares. This is one of the best guilds that includes the strongest mages and adventurers. When they first enter the restaurant, the adventurer with him notices her sister sitting at a table alone and calls out to her. Aaron is surprised when he sees her sister, clearly knowing her. We learn that the adventurer Aaron saved is named Sophia. Her sister tells her there was a meeting here a little while ago that just ended. She says, who did you bring with you? And you're still too young for outings and dates. When she first sees Aaron, she says, is that you? We learn that her older sister is named Sophia. Is surprised and says, do you two know each other or what? Aaron tells her, yes, I know her. Your older sister is named Salma, leader of the strongest S-rank team in the Silver Hares. It's known that she is the strongest support and enhancement mage on the company. She pioneered the idea that each team member has a different role, like attackers whose goal is to fight enemies, defenders to block attacks, and support mages to boost their levels and assist from behind. She changed the way adventurers think in a huge way. In short, your sister is extremely famous, a superstar. He says to himself, my team saw her last month on her mission and were completely amazed by her. That's the reason they kicked me out of the team. Aaron is surprised that she is extremely angry and doesn't know why. She says to him, how dare you date someone my little sister's age? Aaron tells her, you misunderstood. I came to have dinner with her, nothing more. She says, you mean you think my sister is ugly, not... But immediately Sophia interrupts and tells her sister, you can't talk to the person who saved my life like that. She lets Salma know that her little sister entered a dungeon without her permission but is happy her sister wasn't harmed. She thanks Aaron for his help and for saving. They sit together afterwards and Aaron tells Sophia, I saw your sister last month in the labyrinth when we were on a mission together, the two of us. Salma tells Sophia, we cooperated together to complete the mission together. She says to Aaron, you helped me a lot on the mission so I could complete it successfully. In short, she's not trying to belittle him at all. She's surprised her sister Sophia doesn't know Aaron, so she says to her, is Aaron famous or something? She tells her he's a member of the famous Heroes Guild. But Aaron interrupts and says, I'm no longer a member, I was expelled. She is shocked how they could expel someone like Aaron and says to him, it seems they don't appreciate your value or strength properly. Aaron tells her, everyone has their own reasons and in the end we understood when I left the team. She says to him, so you're currently unemployed and without a job? He says to her, exactly. He says to himself, it seems she wants me to join the Silver Hares team. But he tells her, right now I prefer to be alone and don't want to join any team. However, Salma asks him to be an escort for their expedition without being a member. She tells him they have new adventurer recruits going on a training expedition and want him to be an escort with them. Don't worry, you'll be paid for it. They say an A-rank judge will lead the new adventurers during the training and you'll be with them. She tells him the expedition lasts 3 days and they'll descend to the 50th floor of the southern Great Domus. He is surprised and says, how is it only 3 days? That's a very short time. For that Domus to bring in new adventurers they need at least 6 months to a year. She says, I know it's difficult but not impossible, and our sponsors are demanding it themselves. He asks her, what is the goal of your sponsors and why do they want it done in such a short period? He understands they want to try to recruit the strongest adventurers by putting them in a very difficult Domus and determining their level. Whoever succeeds in these tests and kills the chieftain of each floor will be qualified to join the Silver Hares team. Selma notices Aaron is very smart and easily understood the sponsor's goal. He says, clearly this expedition is very important for the Silver Hares Guild. He says to her, aren't you afraid a stranger like me will join your important expedition? Immediately she grabs his hand and says, you are a very important person to me. He says to himself, I'm happy she appreciates me so much even though my team expelled me and abandoned me so easily. But Aaron refuses and tells her, I appreciate your concern but I have other goals and plans in mind right now. But Sophia says to Aaron, I'm joining this expedition and I'll be very happy if you join me and are there with me. She keeps begging him to agree. Aaron tells Salma, I want to tell you something important. He says to her, right now my profession is a swordsman, not an enhancer like you imagine. If I decide to participate with you in the expedition, I'll participate as a swordsman. When they ask why, Aaron remains silent and doesn't answer her, so she agrees for him to join them on the expedition as a swordsman. She tells him, if you agree to join us, we'll be waiting for you at the Silver Hairs Guild tomorrow morning. Afterwards, he goes to a magic tools shop and sits with the elderly shop owner. He tells him, I was expelled from the heroes team. He says, I won't be able to afford your magical products now that I'm unemployed. It seems the elderly man knows about Aaron's abilities and knows he's a hardworking person. He says to him, don't be upset. He says, I care about you a lot whether you help me or not. He tells him, I know in the future you'll be a very important and successful person. He tells him in the end, I want you to make any decision from your own mind, and I want you to do whatever you see as right. He tells him, I'll always be on your side. The next morning, he goes to the Silver Hairs Guild and meets Selma. She says to him, clearly vitality and energy are more evident on you today than yesterday. The next day, he meets Vince Prime, the leader of the Golden Rabbits. Vince has heard a lot about Aaron and knows he's the most suitable person for his mission. Aaron tells him he is very honored by this meeting and didn't expect someone like him to think so highly of him. Vince says, don't be shy, Aaron, speak freely here. No one is watching us. He knows he left the hero team but isn't interested in knowing the real reason and doesn't want to waste any more time because they have a difficult mission. Aaron wants to know more about the dungeon expedition. Vince lets him know that Selima will explain everything to him. Selima tells him the plan is as follows. They will descend from the first floor to the 51st floor in 3 days. They must reach the 21st floor on the first day, and on the second day they must reach floor 36. At that rate they'll reach floor 51 on the third day. Vince speaks with Selima privately and says the hero team really lost Aaron, and their strength will greatly diminish without him. Selima agrees with him on that particular point because his support magic had brought them to a level they never even dreamed of. But of course, as soon as they saw themselves as strong, they kicked him out like a dog. That's because his support magic is below average, but his speed in using enchantments is very strong. They know he is about 4 times faster than her, which is why he's the most suitable person for their mission, not to mention his ability to combine different enchantments and analyze risks during battle. We learn that this isn't just a simple expedition. Selima is exploiting him to elevate the Golden Rabbits because having Aaron with them will make them rise to the top again. The kid Aaron is happy, thinking they appreciate his abilities, but he doesn't know they are doing this for the guild's benefit. Vince recalls hearing about him in the last battle, when their team and the hero team united and defeated the Southern Dungeon Dragon, but he doesn't believe all the talk about him and feels people exaggerate in estimating Aaron's strength. But Selima says Aaron is much stronger than her, but people exaggerate about her too, meaning I'm not weak, don't downplay me guys. This is because she is the most famous and strong one in the team. People like Aaron who are truly strong, don't appear in the picture. Aaron learns there are 10 teams, with 5 escorts including Selima. All the teams will split up to kill monsters quickly. If any team falls into danger, the escorts will intervene. Selima is proud of him because he memorized the plan quickly, but Aaron asks her why there are 5 observers. He tells her this mission is really dangerous, and just 5 won't be able to protect all the teams. Selima lets him know their sole goal is to reach floor 51, and they must be exposed to pressures and dangerous situations so these kids can develop quickly. This will be a nice opportunity for them to gain combat experience. Our Aaron isn't convinced by her words, but unfortunately he has no other choice now. He knows there are other reasons they are hiding from him and is surprised they want to execute the mission with such speed. Of course, none of them can tell the truth because he's still new with them and they can't trust him yet. Aaron is forced to agree to the plan. Vince gives him a sack of gold as an advance payment, and he'll take the other half after completing the mission. Aaron doesn't mind, but he feels the amount is large for the mission. 100 gold pieces is a whole year's salary, isn't it, guys? You're being very generous. I wonder why this never happened in the team I was in. Selima tells him they appreciate his real strength and says, if you're late tomorrow, I'll cut you loose. Aaron tells her he will put in all his effort for the mission to succeed. The next day, Aaron arrives at the place early and sees the entrance to the Southern Dungeon. There is a very large crowd of kids. Selima arrives with her sister Sophia. Aaron notices Sophia is wearing their uniform and confirms she is also still a beginner. He says to her, "What's with this cuteness, Sophia? The uniform? That's an outfit for another occasion." Sophia's face turns red and she becomes shy because of him. Selima says to her, "Control yourself, girl, and you, Aaron, stop flirting and focus on the mission." She thinks he's attached and dates a lot of girls. But Aaron tells her he's not attached at all. He just had many girls in the hero team and treated them like sisters, I swear. Selima is still suspicious of him. She knows Aaron used to stay with his team in the palace, but now he's staying in a very humble place. Selima is surprised that Sophia asked about his place and says to her, "Are you going to meet him behind my back?" That's a black record girl. Sophia says to her, stop suspecting me already. Selima asks him, why are you standing away from the team? Aaron tells her he doesn't know any of them, and also they look tense and don't know who they're waiting for. Selima asks Aaron to go introduce himself to them and try to get them out of the anxious and tense mood they're in. They meet the 3 escorts who will be with them on the mission, and she introduces them to Aaron, the 5th escort. Asim asks her if they can trust him. Selima says to him, shame on you, he's here on my guarantee. Aaron says to her, don't raise expectations in front of them too high. We're going to get a proper beating inside and it's going to look bad. Aaron introduces himself as a frontline attacker. Our Kasim is a defender, Bernardo is also a defender. Are we just going to play defense? Cassie is a healing sorceress who treats injuries. Selima will be the support sorceress in the team. Aaron finds the team balanced and will play with a pass to Sala plan. But he doesn't understand how he'll manage if he wasn't there, because there's no one else among them who's an attacker besides him. Selima notices he is still worried and recalls the last conversation between her and the guild leader. We learn they lost a strong warrior in their team and a support sorceress like her, so the team won't be balanced. This way the guild leader won't be able to add to the first group. Selima doesn't know how to solve the problem. It's been a year for them trying with no progress. Our Aaron is their only option now, but this time Aaron decided to be an attacker and abandon support magic to be a swordsman. If he can perform this role well, their plan might succeed this time. Selima stands in front of the 10 teams and lets them know the 3 coming days are upon them. She knows they are tense because the dungeon is at their level, but she tells them, don't you dare worry at all. I have with me the coolest person who ever entered this dungeon. She introduces them to Aaron from the hero team, and he is the only one who reached the 94th floor and knows the dungeon more than all of them. Aaron finds that Selima has handed him over literally to the families. All the kids are happy and amazed by him. Everyone is excited and wants to enter the dungeon. Aaron tells her she exaggerated a bit, and these kids will go in and be shocked inside. Selima says she had to do that to motivate them, and it's an important part of her plan so these kids can bring out their best during the attack time. Aaron thinks about how he can earn the title of hero in this mission, all to help Haj Mario and sell more products. Selima tells him he will be with the 10th team, and this is the most distinguished group in the whole team. But Aaron is shocked when he finds only 3 of them, while the other teams have 5 members. Did they just stop at us or what? Selima put him in their worst team, and their small number will expose them to danger. He meets Logan, the charisma of the team, who lets him know that as long as he is with them, no one will ever be able to beat this team. Aaron can't believe there's someone this arrogant at such a young age. He introduces himself as the group leader too and says the support sorceress, referring to himself, will soon reach Selima's level. Such boldness, there's nothing more to say. Aaron says to himself, I wonder where he gets all this confidence from. Alright then. The second one is a defender named Carlin. Aaron asks her about her shield, but she says she doesn't like to wear it because it ruins the look of her outfit. You guys look like you're in a circus. She lets him know she is the only defender who doesn't use a shield. Aaron says to her, looks like we won't even pass the 2nd floor. She lets him know she burns monsters from afar because she's afraid a monster might touch her by accident. Their smell is very bad, oh lord, give me patience with these stupid teens. Aaron realizes she is an evasive type defender, and this type is exposed to danger because monsters get close. He tells her the evasive style is very difficult and requires a long time to gain experience in. Logan says they've warned her a lot before, but she is stubborn and goes with her own mind, always ignoring safety instructions. The 2 of them keep bickering with each other. Sophia is the last member of the team and is a rear attacker who strikes from afar. Aaron realizes they are the worst team among all 10 teams. For the first time, he feels the mission is truly difficult. He is surprised they fell silent as soon as they entered the dungeon. Carlin is surprised that someone from the hero team is with them on the expedition. Aaron reminds her of Selima's words and lets her know he has withdrawn from his old team. She says to him, does anyone want to leave the hero team? What's with you? Looks like you're evading and don't want to say they kicked you out. Aaron gets annoyed by her constant talking and doesn't know how to deal with this girl. She stops him halfway to ask him again, how do you know Sophia? She exposes her in front of everyone because she said someone awesome was joining them. The girl is embarrassed in front of Aaron and doesn't know what to say. Then later she tells them he saved her life and her sister said they'd be safe as long as he was with them. Suddenly 2 wild flies appear and jump on them from behind, but they die instantly in Aaron's trap. Aaron had calculated and planted many traps in the area in case anyone attacked them without them noticing. Aaron knows time is flying and doesn't want to waste his strength in unnecessary battles. Indeed, they reach the 20th floor very quickly. Aaron notices Logan has strong skills as a support sorceress. He thought he was just an arrogant kid, but this time he proved himself. His only flaw is that he doesn't know how to lead the team and keeps shouting loudly every now and then. Carlin is also very fast and knows how to evade monsters quickly, but unfortunately she is impulsive and attacks the monster as soon as she sees it. Also, her weapon is two small daggers, and these weapons are weak against large monsters. Sophia is also a strong offensive sorceress, and Sophia's level is truly that of a beginner, but she gets very scared as soon as Logan yells at her. Her personality is weak and indecisive always, but she doesn't show off her strength like the rest of her team. He's waiting for her level to rise to see her real strength. The teams are on the 20th floor, and Cass helped them kill the giant ghoul. They all register in the instant teleportation device. Thus, the first day passes without problems. Salima asks Aaron about his team, and he tells her they have strong capabilities but don't know how to work together as a team. He is worried about Carlin because she is very reckless, and she is the one who could bring down the whole team. Salima tells him she has improved a lot compared to before. If he had met her last year, he would have pulled his hair out. Aaron says to her, "Well, thank God I saw her this year." In the end, they agree to meet at the same place. The second day, Aaron wakes up to the news in the newspapers and is shocked by what he sees in front of him. He can't believe they announced a new member in the hero team. This means Aaron's disgrace is now public, and all the teams in the guild know they kicked him out. Aaron is angry and very upset because they are belittling him, and the Golden Rabbits team might dispense with him. He'll look bad in front of all the kids on the whole expedition. Aaron is angry and doesn't know how to act. He's afraid the kids will lose hope in him and the mission will fail, especially since they achieved their first goal and managed to reach the 21st floor on the first day. In the end, he goes there as if nothing happened. He is surprised when someone calls out to him and realizes it's Luna, who was with him in the old team. We learn she is the one most impressed with him, spending most of her time with him. She was the only one who loved him in the old team, and even when they kicked him out, she wasn't with them because if she had been present, she would have definitely prevented them from doing that. Aaron notices he is still attached to his old team. Luna asks him to return to a different team and lets him know they really need his strength in the team. Aaron knew she would say that because she is the only one who appreciates his real strength. Aaron doesn't understand how she can ask him to return, especially after the article that spread in the newspapers this morning. He tells her alone that she is the one who wants him back, and if she came with him now, she could convince them to take him back. But Aaron is surprised she is speaking so seriously and is very insistent that he come with her until now. But Aaron has already made his decision and won't return after what they wrote about him in the article. He tells her he doesn't want to return to that team again. Luna doesn't know anything about the article he's talking about. She thinks he promised her before that they would continue together and she won't complete her dungeon journey without him. Aaron gets upset and very angry, pulls his hand from hers, and reminds her that Oliver promised him when the three of them were together, but unfortunately, he broke his promise and kicked him out behind the team's back. Now he's exposed in front of everyone because no two teams will accept him. In the end, Aaron apologizes to her and leaves. Luna confirms he will never return to the team. Aaron remembers when they were little and could never have imagined being separated from them one day. Aaron is walking and remembers when the team because he is weak. He thinks about today's news and what was written about him. Aaron says, "I expected this to happen." He tries to think what to do now and asks himself, how many people still believe in my strength after today's news? Everyone saw the news and everyone is talking about him. They all know he was kicked out of the team because he is weak. A boy says Aaron withdrew. No one kicked him out, and if Aaron was really kicked out, that would change everything. The students, as soon as they see him, say good morning to him nervously. Aaron replies to them and notices the change in them, completely opposite to yesterday. This is because Salima was boasting about him in front of the students, but now they are afraid and doubt his strength. Salima calls for Aaron and comes running quickly. Aaron is surprised Salima came at a time like this. As soon as Salima reaches him, she apologizes for what happened. Aaron says to her, "There's no need to apologize." He tells her if she stays this tense, our expedition will fail. Salima says to him, "But I kept talking about you to the members yesterday." She tells him, "Honestly, that was my mistake, and I should have been more careful." Aaron says to her, "I'm the one who should apologize to you because I couldn't clarify the situation." Aaron says to all the students, "None of you should worry. I will be with you in the dungeon today and protect you with my life." Then he asks Salima to act naturally. One of the supervisors says, "But Aaron, you managed to reach the 94th floor and that in itself is a very strong achievement." The man tells him, "Don't worry, we all depend on you and know your real strength, and what you can do exactly." Even Salima encourages him too and says to them, "You're right, really? Yesterday Aaron was very strong and managed to accomplish the mission with ease. We want to see what happened yesterday repeated today." Aaron says to them, "No one should worry. You can all depend on me today." Afterwards, the students start saying good morning to Aaron with all confidence and love. Aaron says to them, "You must have heard the news spreading in the newspapers." Sophia says to him, "Of course, all these news are just writing. You are stronger than that. The boy with them asks him, did this really happen or not? Eren says to them, what happened is mostly true, but it's not the whole truth. He tells him, if you're asking if I'm weak or not, then yes, I am weak and I'm not the hero everyone imagined in their mind. Eren apologizes to them for not telling them this from the beginning. The boy doesn't understand why Eren is saying this now, but Sophia says to him that Eren is very strong and managed to defeat 10 orc monsters with ease. She tells him, no matter what you tell us, I will remain sure that you are still strong. Eren thanks Sophia for her trust in him and tells them, I will get you to the 51st floor. He asks them to exert their effort in exploration like last time. Afterwards he takes his team and enters the dungeon. The team enters the southern dungeon again, but today the start will be from the 21st floor. Eren tells them the mission is exactly like yesterday. Today's goal is for them to reach the 35th floor underground. Our Eren is a bit worried because he hasn't received any other orders since they started, and he doesn't understand how they appointed him as a supervisor without any prior experience. On the 24th floor Lauren was killing all the imps. On the 29th floor Sophia was using fire magic. Eren is proud of both of them and knows they still rely on him until now. On the contrary, our Logan is still worried since he heard the news. Afterwards they reach the 31st floor, and Eren is the one who will give them orders this time, because the deeper they go into the dungeon the more the danger begins to increase. They must be alert and focused because the monsters here are smart and set traps. Suddenly he stops them all in their place and lets them know monsters are coming from afar. Everyone is ready and excited for the battle. Goblin imps appear again. Eren asks Carlin to show him her real strength and asks Sophia to hit them from afar. Our Logan activates support magic without being asked and says in a mocking tone that he is commanding them like any supervisor in the team. Looks like he's not special and was making fun of them. Our Logan directs all the support magic towards her, which makes her kill the largest number of goblins. Suddenly, a giant orc monster appears in front of Sophia, and she is afraid of it, not knowing how to act. Logan doesn't understand why she froze in place. He thinks the orcs attacked her before, which is why she is afraid of them and rooted to the spot. He notices Eren is silent and not moving from his place at all, leaving her this time to act on her own. Logan doesn't trust him and thinks about saving her himself, but he is surprised when Eren weakens the orc with his magic and begins to reassure Sophia. He tells her, don't worry, we are all here around you. He asks her to calm down a bit and focus on the attack. Sophia indeed regains her confidence and attacks the monster. She creates a firestorm using a fire spear and ignites the monster in less than 5 seconds. Eren and Logan are shocked by her strength. Why were you afraid of a few moments ago? You look like you're winking, guys. Our Eren is very proud of her. It's the first time he knows she uses advanced magic. Carlin says to her, such cuteness and all this strength. Out of sheer joy she takes her in a hug, abandoning the battle. Now I know why girls don't join the army. Eren tells her that was a really strong attack. Logan understands that Eren is a master of weakening magic. Until now I don't understand why the hero team kicked him out. What a tough guy, guys, and his magic is working. Afterwards they reach the 35th floor. This time they immediately encounter the floor boss, which is the giant death spider. Logan knows the three of them can't do anything against it and says to Eren, what do we do now? Eren asks him to support Carlin and Sophia, increase Carlin's agility and endurance, and Sophia with support magic. Our Logan can't believe what he's hearing. Grandpa, these are the same orders for every battle. How will they work with this terrifying monster? Hasn't anything changed? Carlin executes the orders and begins the attack. Logan sees this as suicide and tries to stop her, but Eren stops him and says, if you move from your spot, we'll all be in danger. Eren tells her to jump from above and hit it in the back. As soon as she gets close to it, she plunges her daggers into its back immediately, splitting its entire back until she creates a large wound. Eren asks her to distract it so the second attack can begin. He lets them know it's a poisonous spider that strikes from afar, and they must avoid its poison by any means. Logan supports her with his magic. Carlin moves quickly and tries to distract it. As soon as it strikes down at her, she easily blocks the blow and says to it, come get me, Grandpa Spider. The spider starts moving towards her. Logan is still silent. Eren says to him, don't weaken at all because Carlin's life is now in your hands. He asks Sophia to immobilize the monster. Sophia hits it with air blades and cuts off half of its right arms, thus completely removing its mobility. The monster sits on the ground and is finally defeated. Logan can't believe they killed it that easily, but Eren tells them the battle is still on. He asks him to grant Carlin a strength and skill enhancement. Logan doesn't understand what he wants to do and is delayed. The monster manages to grab her, wraps her shoulder in its web, and pulls her towards it to eat her. Sophia is very afraid for her. Eren says to her, don't be afraid, you're better than that. He asks her to cut the web with the dagger she has. Carlin tries to move her hand amidst the web. Logan suspects Eren knew what would happen from the beginning. Eren asks Sophia to prepare the stone arrow and tells Logan to support her with magic again. Carlin keeps screaming from afar and lets our hero know she can't do anything. Aaron knows Logan has 3 enchantments left at once, but he must intervene this time because Carlin could die. He decides to use support magic on her. She finds her conviction has returned and she frees herself quickly. Sophia has prepared a stone arrow, and as soon as she shoots it at the monster, she finishes it off easily. The mission has succeeded and the spider is finally dead. Logan knows this was Aaron's plan from the beginning to make them trust him again. Aaron tells Logan that he saved them with his support magic, hid it, and helped them so their confidence in themselves would increase. Thus, their mission for today is finished. Everyone gathers outside the dungeon again. Selima greets them and says, "Long live heroes." Today's mission was accomplished successfully. Tomorrow will be our last day in the dungeon. You must rest and eat well now, because tomorrow we will reach the 51st floor, and you will literally see the hardest day of your training lives. May God protect you and let you pass it safely. Aaron is returning home alone and finds Bernard and Asim calling for him. The two of them want him for something important. Asim says to him, "Come on, let's have lunch and talk comfortably." Aaron thought their presence was always just the two of them, but clearly they are good, not like the dogs from the hero team. Bernard says to him, "Have a taste of the best lamb thigh you'll ever eat." This is his favorite restaurant. Logan rides with his friends in the carriage and learns that Aaron saved Sophia from monsters before. Sophia tells him that happened 3 days ago and it was her first time entering the dungeon alone. Logan knows Aaron saved her alone but wants to know more details to confirm his strength. He asks her if she remembers the fighting style or the enchantment he used. Sophia tries to remember what happened and says he first struck the monsters with the wind sword, then used support magic to enhance the strength of his sword. Logan knows his enchantment enhances weapons. Carlin says to him that he definitely used it today because her daggers became stronger and sharper than before. Logan asks Sophia if he used a sword during the battle. Sophia says, "Yes, of course. He was cutting orc monsters like onion slices." Logan realizes he can use weapon and magic together, and this is a rare skill not present in anyone. But Sophia says Aaron changed his specialization after leaving the hero team and refused to join their mission as a natural support sorcerer. This time he chose to be a frontline attacker. Logan is surprised and sees this as something completely illogical. He caught a glimpse of him actually using support magic. Logan had misunderstood because he looked down on him as soon as he found out he was kicked out of the hero team. He thought he lied to them to show off his strength in front of the students and was very upset because he betrayed all his expectations. But today when he saw him in battle, he confirmed his real strength. This is the first time he sees someone using weakening magic. Even Selima herself doesn't use that enchantment because it is a rare and difficult enchantment to execute. But our Aaron managed to do it easily. Not to mention what happened in the Death Spider battle. This is the first time he understands the importance of combat organization and that having a tactical commander like Aaron was very important. If any of them had disobeyed orders, they would have all died. The plan was they distracted the enemy using the frontline attacker, then the rear defender and support sorcerer strike from afar. Logan knows this is the ideal method for group attacks, the method by which they can kill monsters no matter how strong they are. Now he knows Aaron is superior to them by stages and doesn't understand why he changed his specialization to a frontline attacker. Sophia tells him he is a strong attacker indeed, and she confirmed it after he killed tens of orcs with one attack. Carlin says she will be like him one day. Monday, Logan wants to challenge him and will never give up. He will use every opportunity to prove his strength in front of him. Carlin says to him, "What's with you? Why are you doubting like this? If we hadn't won in the battle, what would you have done?" Logan says to her there's nothing really, but he's psyching himself up for tomorrow's battle. Aaron is at the restaurant with Bernard and Asim, who place all kinds of grilled meats in front of him. Bernard says to him, "Fill up the tank completely, maestro. The food is all on us anyway." Bernard reminds him of when he was in the hero team and says, "You must have celebrated a lot with your friends." Aaron tells them that didn't happen often because he was doing routine work and important paperwork and didn't have time to go out with them anyway. Bernard doesn't care about what they wrote about him in the article and says there was no need for such vulgar talk. Asim agrees with him on this point too and asks Aaron to forget what happened and start a new page for himself. Aaron tells them their words make him very happy. Not to mention this meal came at the right time honestly. Asim knows he was a support sorcerer in his old team but is surprised that as soon as he met them he said he was a frontline attacker. Aaron tells him he is now a swordsman and changed his specialization immediately after leaving the hero team. Our Bernard wants to know the reason. Aaron tells them he was a swordsman when he first joined the team, and that was his dream since he was a little child. He was very happy when he got that position, and he is the eldest. Asim thinks someone in his family was also a swordsman, which is why he inherited the knight's strength from him. Aaron tells them his grandfather was a very strong knight and was the first one to kill the monster that attacked their village. He managed to defeat it with one sword strike. Since Aaron saw him, he wished to become a swordsman like him. Asim asks him, then what made you change your mind and become the team's support sorcerer? Eren tells them that happened when they delved deeper into the floors inside the dungeon. Someone among them had to sacrifice his rank for the team to be balanced. At that time they encountered very fierce monsters and had to think of a way to advance quickly. They needed a support sorcerer with them to enhance their strength against the enemy. Eren was the only one who could do that because he has multitasking ability, which isn't present in anyone else. Asim says that is what made them reach the 94th floor, so in the end that decision was in the team's interest. But Eren says that's not right, they should have continued a bit until they increased their strength. Eren makes excuses that he was a bit harsh with his team, and refuses to tell them the rest of the true story. We learn this story happened on the 94th floor. Bernard wants to know from him the signs of a professional swordsman. Eren says a swordsman can be a multitasker normally, and can also descend to the lower floors and pass them alone. That was always his ambition since he was a little child. Asim is confident he will do that soon. Carlin and Sophia take a shower together and know that tomorrow is the last day of the expedition. Their wish is for Eren to continue with them after this mission. Carlin asks Sophia to try to convince him to join the team, but Sophia is afraid and very embarrassed by him. She is very sad because she won't see him again. The next day there is a gathering at the dungeon. The hero team has arrived at the place with Luna as well. She is still sad about Eren. Looks like we're heading into fiery events. The third and final day of the Golden Rabbits mission arrives, and Eren knows it's the last day he'll see this scene and these students again. He finds his team waiting early. Logan can't believe today is their last day. Eren tells him, the most important thing is we return without injuries. Carolyn asks him to give them a reward after today's test. Eren doesn't quite understand what she means. She gestures to Sophia to ask him to join the team, but Sophia gets very nervous and can't speak to him. Carolyn lets him know that Sophia wants him for something important, but Selima calls him over, so he quickly walks away. He hears the students talking about the hero team, and they've agreed to go deep into the dungeon to the 94th floor. One of them says no, they'll go to the 92nd first to test the team's synergy with the new member they have. Eren says they should go to the lower floors, not the deep ones, are higher level and much more dangerous. But he's not with them now anyway, so stow with them now. He says to himself, whatever, this talk is none of my business anymore. The hero team is on the 92nd floor with their new support mage Philly. Oliver says, finally we'll start a new adventure, and Eren the failure won't stop us again. He is very surprised by Philly, his replacement, and the team is very happy with her because she specializes in support magic, whereas Eren used many different things and always distracted them. Oliver made her the team leader. Philly tells them she'll use her maximum power. Oliver notices that Luna isn't talking to her. Today I'll prove to her that Eren is truly useless, he thinks. Flashback to 2 days earlier. The whole team was gathered at the headquarters. Philly begins to introduce herself, can't believe she's joining the hero team. Oliver tells them Philly is a support mage from the Red Essence rank who reached the 100th floor in the Western Dungeon. She'll be the first dedicated support mage in their team. Derek says, she'll definitely be stronger than that pauper who was with us. Philly thanks them for their warm welcome party. Derek says, this party isn't for you. We're celebrating because Eren is gone. He's happy because he won't have to manage the accounts anymore. That guy was saving them a lot of money in the team, he says. They call him stingy for not letting them spend freely. The man was just trying to watch your money a bit seriously. You guys are an ungrateful team. Oliver says to them, forget about Eren now, let's celebrate Philly. Here Luna bursts in quickly and is surprised by Phyllis' presence. She thinks she's just a guest. Oliver tells her to speak up. Luna informs them that Eren entered the dungeon with the Golden Rabbits. Of course they are all shocked by the news. No one can believe he joined the Golden Rabbits so quickly, especially after they wrote about his weakness in the news. Luna doesn't know what they did in her absence. She is shocked when she finds out they said Eren left the team. She can't believe he gave up on them so easily. Derek says to her, you misunderstood, sweetie. We were the ones who kicked that failure out in the first place. Here Luna gets her second shock and becomes very angry. Oliver tells her that Philly is Eren's replacement in the team. Luna says to him, I told you before, I reject this idea. Derek says, who do you think you are, the leader here or what? Oliver tells her that Eren isn't as strong as Philly. Luna says, you fool. Eren was the backbone of our team. He's the one who helped us reach the 94th floor. You won't be able to pass a single floor without him, no matter what you do. Philly tells her that Eren isn't that exceptional, nor is he even specialized in support magic. No one sees him as strong except for her, and that's it. Anyway, Eren won't come back even if she stands on her tongue. Luna knows her team is lost. Oliver decides to talk about the plan since everyone is here. He tells them that in 2 days they'll descend to the 92nd floor. If they succeed in the training, they'll go straight to the 94th to break a new record. Luna refuses to participate with them. She tells Oliver she doesn't want to die. Derek mocks her, calling her a coward. Luna tells them that even if Philly is strong, they must go to a floor lower than 92 so they can train on how to fight together. Philly tells her that floor is very easy. Luna reminds them that they encountered the black dragon there before and only escaped by a miracle. It almost finished them off. Its power has definitely increased since it's still alive, she says. But Nellie tells her that this time it will be much easier because Aaron, that failure, isn't with them. But Luna tells them the black dragon is much stronger than them. Oliver says to her, "We're going to test ourselves, nothing more. We won't engage in direct confrontation with the dragon." But Derek wants to fight the dragon, thinking they can win easily. Luna warns him against descending to the lower floors and tells them that going there without Aaron is suicide. But Oliver has made his decision, and she has no right to refuse or object now. Back to the hero team on the lower floor. They are faced with a giant mosquito at level 100, attacking them with ice power. Oliver blocks its strike with his sword and attacks it for the first time. He notices his sword isn't affecting it at all. When he returns to the backline, he feels a tremor in his body. Every time the support magic fades, he feels unable to move. He calls out to Philly, angry. "Why is the support magic running out? Are you casting it so it runs out? What are you, useless?" Philly doesn't understand their combat flow and keeps switching support magic between the three of them. Oliver notices she still hasn't grasped their strategy. Oliver understood the plan from the first hour. Derek, the moment he blocks a strike coming towards Nellie, loses his balance and almost kills her literally. The guy is puzzled because he's weak and doesn't understand what happened to him. He used to block strong strikes like these easily. Nellie attacks the monster with fireballs, but the attacks literally have no effect on it. It's like they're tickling it. Oliver says to her, "What kind of nonsense are you doing?" Nellie doesn't understand how her spells weaken so strangely. Oliver asks Philly to boost Nellie's power. The moment Nellie hits it, she finds her attacks are still weak, and it's the monster that blows her away this time. Oliver stands shocked, not understanding what's happening. Phyllis' support magic should be much stronger than Aaron. Derek can't withstand the monster's strikes and calls for Oliver to catch up. He asks Nellie to hit it from the side. But the moment she approaches, a second mosquito appears and strikes her, sending her flying back before the main monster can finish her. These are the ones who want to fight the black dragon? They can't even defeat the giant mosquito. This isn't a hero team, it's a comedy team, guys. It seems Aaron was right to leave them, he thinks. Oliver asks Philly to warn them of the monster's attacks. Philly doesn't know how to do that. Oliver thought this task was specific to support mages, but Philly says he misunderstood. All she can do is cast support spells, nothing more. Nellie realizes she's useless. Oliver is surprised that Derek and Nellie aren't as strong as before, and he's weak like them too. He can't use his sword's power in aerial strikes. Phyllis' magic boosted his physical strength, but it has no effect on their magical power at all. Oliver asks Luna about the reason for their weakness. Suddenly the black dragon appears above them. They all freeze at the sight before them, not believing it came all the way to them. This time it's even bigger, reaching level 1000. It stomps on the mosquito like a small insect, destroying it in less than a second right in front of all of them. Luna begs them to run away quickly. Derek and Nellie refuse to flee. "You idiot, come on. This is the monster we couldn't defeat before. It crushed us in seconds." Luna tells them they won't be able to defeat it no matter what. But Oliver says to her that they defeated it before. The moment Derek approaches the dragon, he hits it with a fireball. The ball flies to the ground and shatters completely. He is injured and unable to move. Luna heals him quickly using her magic. Oliver is surprised why Philly didn't help Derek. Philly is frozen in place, terrified of the dragon. Oliver can't believe this is the one they brought to replace Aaron. Nellie attacks the dragon with a spear of fire and is shocked because the attack didn't even get close to it. The dragon hits her with a fireball that explodes the area, knocking her out next to Derek. Luna asks them to flee the area. She begs Oliver to calm down and control himself because they can't possibly defeat the dragon. They must get out of here quickly before they die now. The dragon prepares its strongest fire attack. Luna asks Oliver to block the strike long enough for them to escape, to buy them some time. Oliver calls for Philly to wake up and asks her for all the support magic she has. Oliver strikes with the power of his Omid magic and manages to block its fireball, but the guy is sent flying from the force of the strike. He can't believe he was thrown so easily. He asks Luna, "What are we supposed to do now?" Luna says, "Wake up, Star. We're in a battle and you're the leader. You're supposed to give us orders." The dragon prepares a fire attack stronger than the last. Luna has no choice but to use a teleportation gate. This is like a magical bomb used in extreme emergencies. It opens a teleportation gate inside the dungeon so they can escape from here and go to another place in the dungeon. This is the only solution available to them. Oliver knows they'll go to another lower floor and might encounter other dungeon monsters like the mosquito. But anything will be more merciful than the terrifying dragon before them. They all gather together and Oliver throws the bomb. But the dragon, the moment it sees the gate, attacks them and enters the gate before them, fleeing the place. Derek says, "Thank God we're still alive." but Luna gets angry with him and tells him this is a huge disaster. Oliver realizes the black dragon will emerge on the floors above them, meaning it could reach the young students and kill all the students from the Golden Rabbits team, not to mention other adventurers present on the floors above them. Luna tells them they must return to the guild immediately and asks them to perform a full dungeon evacuation now. This is a feature available in the adventurer's card. The guild uses it in times of danger and crisis to get adventurers out of the dungeon. This is their only solution now. Oliver knows the guild will punish them after what they've done, but there's no time left. They must move quickly. Luna tells them that Derek and Nellie are injured and won't be able to do anything. She has to wait until she heals them with healing magic. Luna tells them they must go back to fight the dragon, but only after they ask the guild for help. They need to replace Philly with Aaron as quickly as possible, and convince Aaron to come back and help them with this mission. Derek refuses and doesn't want his help. Luna tells them she was going to tell them the reason for their weakness, but when the dragon appeared she couldn't speak. She tells them they are still as they are. Oliver is puzzled by her words and says, "Then how did our power weaken in this strange way?" He finds that his strongest attack had no effect on the dragon at all. Luna tells them this happened because Aaron isn't with them. She asks Oliver if he understands support magic well. Oliver says the strength of support magic is determined by the spell itself, and the spell's duration is 3 minutes for each person. She tells him that's correct, but the three of them have high magical resistance, so support magic lasts for them for 2 minutes, no more. In Oliver's case it's more complicated. The magic doesn't stay with him for more than a minute. Oliver is shocked. It's the first time he's heard this. Luna tells him his body isn't suitable for any support mage, and Aaron was the only one who understood the nature of his body. But Oliver tells her that Philly is much stronger than him. Luna tells him that Aaron knew he was weak in level, so he was integrating other types of magic into his support spell to compensate for the deficiency he had. They are all shocked when they learn that he created his own unique spell and was the only one who could supply them with support magic suitable for their bodies. Luna tells them this is the truth they refuse to believe, and now there's no more time to waste. They run out quickly to catch up with the guild. Oliver can't believe Aaron was that terrifyingly strong. Luna tells him that Aaron invented a new support magic that could literally increase their power by 50 times. Oliver can't believe anyone can reach that number. She says that Selima, the leader of the Golden Rabbits, at best can boost 10 times. Oliver realizes the power of his strike was strong thanks to Aaron's magic. Nellie's fireballs were at their peak when he was with the team. Since then, Oliver became arrogant with his power and thought he had invented his famous magical strike, but all of that disappeared after they expelled Aaron. Nellie remembers her strike on the mosquito and now understands the secret of her weakness against a monster like that. She won't be able to use her strikes again without Aaron's magic. Derek knows Aaron was supporting him in defensive magic and was supplying them with energy in their weapons and bodies, which is why they never felt tired after every battle. The three of them realize she is right. The adventurers are still outside the dungeon and see the hero team running out. They think they failed the test with the new member. Oliver says in a whisper that they are not heroes and have put the adventurers' lives in great danger. We continue our story and see Aaron talking to his team. He tells them, "Our goal today on the final day is to clear the dungeon from the 36th to the 50th floor." They tell him they are ready and prepared. Suddenly he gets a strange feeling and finds the sky overcast. He says, "Our plan hasn't changed until now, and we're supposed to handle the strong monsters that the trainees won't be able to deal with." But he feels a very strange sensation coming from the direction of the great dungeon. We see Camellia note, very excited and saying, "I wonder what monsters we'll face today." She says she's eager to fight them. Aaron tells her, "I don't want you to rush and make quick decisions. Don't forget you're primarily a defender," she says to him. "I want you to trust in me. I wish to one day fight on the front lines." Aaron keeps warning her and says, "Don't forget you're working with a team and you're a part of it. You need to know your duties well." Logan interrupts and says, "Stop being foolish and listen to Aaron's advice." He tells her the warrior Bert always advised us to fight as one team. Aaron says to him, "Do you know Bert or something?" Logan says, "Yes, I read about him." We learn that Bert was the leader of the Silver Sky Rabbits team. Aaron tells him, "I heard he was killed fighting the Black Dragon." Logan says, "He will remain a hero in everyone's eyes." Caroline also adds, "He died because he was defending one of his friends. That's the reason I want to fight on the front lines. That's why I don't want to be the defensive type. I always want to fight so I don't bear the responsibility for anyone else." When Aaron senses that Caroline seems sad and has a big secret inside, he doesn't want to upset her and says, "All right, we'll rely on you in the upcoming fight." At that moment Sophia interjects, "You advised Caroline and left me out. I want you to tell me what advice you should give me." Logan also wants to hear some advice from Aaron. When they enter the 36th floor we see Selma saying to Aaron, Be careful, we need to be very cautious. She notices that his team has become very attached to him and loves him. Eren tells her, I was very afraid after the news spread in the papers about me being expelled from the hero team that they would hate me, but clearly they've become attached to me and understood the situation well. She then says to him, I heard you talking about the warrior Bert, our team's leader. He says yes, we talked about him a bit. She tells him, we were the best team, but after he died, the hero team took our place and became the famous one. Eren tells her, fighting the Black Dragon is not easy at all. We could have lost or died just like Bert. Selma says to him, I know you had a huge role in defeating the Black Dragon. That's why I always wished you were in our team. They then reach the 40th floor and Selma decides to split into 2 teams to face the floor's boss. Eren takes his team and keeps talking to them about how difficult and dangerous the 40th floor is, full of storms and blizzards, so they must be careful. They get very excited and say, tell us then, what do the monsters look like? We then go back to Luna and the hero team. They reach the guild and request to meet the guild master immediately because the situation is serious, but the clerk tells them he's in an important meeting right now. Luna tells her, there's no time, we need to evacuate all adventurers currently in the dungeon right now. We return to Eren and his team on their way. They are surprised that there are no monsters ahead of them so far and feel something strange. They say, how can a room this size have no monsters? Caroline at that moment feels bored because she wanted to meet monsters and fight them. Eren also feels something strange and says, normally there should be monsters on this floor. He says the bad feeling I had before entering the dungeon seems to have been right. He says the disappearance of the monsters means they are afraid of something specific. Caroline keeps looking around until an orc monster appears. Immediately, she attacks it without hesitation. Eren calls out to her not to rush, but she doesn't listen to him. So he uses a weakening skill on the orc to allow Caroline to defeat. Afterwards, Eren goes to her and says, you can't rush like that. Logan tells her the orc monsters on this floor are very fast. If Eren hadn't used his skill, you'd be dead now. Eren tells her, be careful, consider yourself the most important person in the team. You need to think carefully before any decision. He tells her, Logan and Sophia will do their utmost to protect you, and if you act recklessly again, you'll endanger your team. At that moment, Caroline feels guilty and apologizes. He starts teaching her a new technique specific to defenders. The technique is called active defense. Caroline gets excited because finally Eren will teach her a new skill. He begins explaining the active defense technique to her, telling her how to use it well during combat so she can defeat any opponent with it. He tells her if she learns this technique well, she'll be able to predict any monster's move and defeat it easily. Afterwards, Logan intervenes and says, please boss, teach me a new skill too. We go back to the hero team. When they meet the guildmaster, he asks Oliver what happened, but Oliver is embarrassed to speak. So Luna immediately intervenes and says, we need to evacuate the adventurers from the dungeon immediately. The guildmaster tells her, that's very tiring and will also consume a lot of mana. To execute that, the situation must be critical. She tells him bluntly, the Black Dragon escaped and seems to have entered one of the upper, middle, or lower gates, and we don't know exactly which one. The guildmaster feels this is a huge disaster and keeps thinking about how to handle this problem. The crisis here is that since the Black Dragon entered through a teleportation gate, they don't know which specific gate it entered. They decide to hold an emergency meeting to see how they will deal with this problem. We return to Eren later and see Logan saying to him, I want you to teach me that awesome weakening skill of yours. He tells him, if you think it's awesome and effective against normal monsters, I want to tell you that against floor bosses starting from the 61st floor, the effect of this skill is very weak and ineffective. Eren says to Logan, alright, I don't want to learn something you've just badmouthed. Logan says, don't worry, I'll teach you a very fun way to use magic instead of that. He says, look behind you. He sees 2 wolves coming to attack them, but suddenly the trap spell he set earlier appears beneath them and finishes them off. He tells him this is called magic trap spells. Eren begins teaching him this technique so he can use it to restrain the enemy. He tells him that if he succeeds in using these traps, it will increase his team's chances of victory. He tells him that magic traps are considered part of an enhancer's specialties. We go back to the guild later and see the meeting in progress. We find they have agreed to indeed evacuate all adventurers from the dungeon, but of course, it requires a very powerful spell, and they say they need to concentrate because it will consume a lot of mana. We return to Eren later, and it's Sophia's turn for Eren to teach her a new skill. This skill is called parallel casting. Its goal is for her to cast 2 spells at the same time. Eren begins explaining to her the method of how she can cast 2 spells simultaneously, which is that she must reduce the casting time of each spell so she can then create a second new spell. He tells her that reducing the spellcasting time will greatly increase her efficiency. Aaron tells Sophia, your skills qualify you to fight medium-level monsters. Ask your teachers at the Silver Sky Rabbits to teach you a stronger skill. She says to him, am I that weak and pathetic? She says, I want you to teach me. I don't want anyone else. Aaron says to her, I don't want you to be upset with me. I can teach you new techniques, but I don't want your sister to be upset or annoyed with me. We go back to the guild again and see they have indeed started casting the spell, but they ask the hero team to fight and defeat the black dragon. Of course they all hesitate when they hear this from the guild master and tell him they are still injured from their last fight. But Luna supports their team and says, we are ready to fight the black dragon, but on one condition. We return to Aaron, and they enter the boss's floor. At that moment, all the students are watching their teachers to learn how they can defeat a floor boss. Aaron immediately draws his sword and attacks the boss with a strike to its leg, making it unable to move. At that moment, Caroline, Logan, and Sophia realize these are the new methods Aaron taught them earlier. Sophia is surprised when she sees her sister Selma able to cast 5 spells at the same time. Then the other fighters attack the boss and finish it off with one strike. We go back to the hero team later and see Oliver saying to Luna, why did you ask the guild master to evacuate people from floors 40 to 50 first? She tells them simply, because Aaron is there right now. They say to her, what does that guy have to do with us? Haven't we already expelled him? Luna tells them, don't forget we are the weakest team in rank S until now, and it's impossible for us to defeat the black dragon without Aaron's help. Derek gets annoyed and says, are you mocking us or what? Luna tells him be realistic. She tells them, our fate of survival depends on Aaron being with us. We return to Aaron later and find him on the 50th floor facing the boss. Selma tells him, we'll let you finish off this crab, but we'll cut its legs first. He says to her, do you want to make it easier for me or what? She says yes, so we can make it to our party tonight. He says don't worry, leave this to me, I'll finish it alone. He grabs his sword and charges at the crab. Immediately he delivers a powerful legendary strike that severs its arm instantly. We learn the skill he used is called the shock skill. They are all shocked and don't know where Aaron got all that strength from. Afterwards Selma uses an enhancement spell on the other fighters and they attack the crab and finish it off. Aaron is happy that everything went smoothly and none of the students were hurt, but his joy doesn't last long and he feels something strange. Suddenly a spatial barrier shatters and the black dragon bursts in on them. At that moment Selma, Aaron and everyone present are stunned and can't believe the black dragon has appeared before them on the 50th floor. So how will our hero Aaron deal with the black dragon? Will he be able to defeat it or not? We'll find out. Aaron asks them to flee the place. The dragon descended before them, encircling the entire area, and Selema couldn't believe that the black dragon had arrived here, wishing the whole thing was just a dream from which she would wake. Everyone was stunned by what they were seeing, not understanding how the black dragon had reached the 50th floor, and everyone knew of its terrifying strength that no one could withstand. Selima found herself facing a grim reality. She had to lead the entire team now. Aaron tried to think of a way out of this predicament, knowing the boss of the 50th floor had just died, and if they could just escape the dragon they could easily reach the teleportation crystals. Aaron looked at them and saw they were all terrified. He was the only one who could move quickly enough to get there, but if he fled alone, they would all die. So he dismissed that idea from his mind and decided to fight the black dragon with everything he had. He must return the entire expedition unharmed. He vowed he would never act like his old friends and betray the trust placed in him. Taking a deep breath, he swore he would protect them no matter the cost. He drew his weapon and the battle began. He called out to his fellow supervisors for help, and they were all stunned that Aaron wanted to fight the black dragon. Selima ordered them to take a defensive stance, and Katie created a force barrier and reinforced it with support magic. Suddenly a massive fireball came hurtling towards them, and Aaron strengthened the barrier with his magic before the attack even began. They were surprised to still be alive. Selima didn't understand what had just happened, as the barrier's power had suddenly increased drastically, and she realized Aaron was the one who had done it. Aaron moved alone towards the dragon, throwing a dagger at its eye to distract it, knowing he needed to target its weak point. After that he landed a shock strike on its neck. They thought such a strong blow had affected it, but Aaron knew he needed multiplied effort to even wound it. He tried to reassure them, saying everything was under control, and asked them to protect the children with them while he dealt with the black dragon himself. He indeed had a plan, but Selima was afraid for him. He told them to stay in their place even if they were scared. Aaron pulled out a chain with a red stone, and as soon as he put it around his neck he attacked again. He got close to the dragon, making it chase him, knowing he had drawn the dragon's attention to draw it away from them. Selima knew Aaron could handle himself in a situation like this, but they had to find a solution before the dragon finished him off, because this was the same dragon that had killed their comrade last year. If it happened again this year, Selima wouldn't be able to bear losing Aaron. The dragon struck Aaron with fireballs again, and Aaron cast a spell that reflected its attack. The fireball bounced back and burned the dragon's face. No one understood how Aaron had deflected the attack or even what kind of spell he had used. It was revealed to be a reflective wall spell, one of the original spells he invented with his unique magic, reflecting any attack from any opponent. Unfortunately, the dragon wasn't affected by its own fireball. Aaron realized its power had increased since before and now he had to risk everything. This time he used support magic on himself, enhancing his abilities. Selima knew this was a very smart move. It would increase his attack and defense power tenfold and boost all his skills at once, because he was the only one who could regulate it according to his mana. But unfortunately, even all that wasn't enough against the dragon's terrifying power. Aaron surprised everyone with his swift movement. He managed to fuse a compound spell into his support magic, multiplying his power again by 5-fold. Selima couldn't believe what was happening before her eyes, because no one increases support magic more than once in a row, and even if they did, it would only extend its duration, not increase it further. Support magic lasts 3 minutes per use. Aaron had used the enhancement spell 5 times, meaning he now had a quarter of an hour until his energy ran out. The dragon attacked him, trying to eat him this time, but Aaron moved with lightning speed, literally to the point where the dragon didn't even notice him, and he was standing on the other side. His team was happy he was still alive. Selima realized this wasn't just simple support magic. Aaron possessed a magical power that no one else had, and he had created more than one new spell unique to him. To this day, she still didn't know his true hidden strength, but Aaron began to show signs of exhaustion, bleeding from his face. Merging more than 30 spells at once, he couldn't maintain his mana much longer. This had placed a huge burden on his body that could cause him to collapse suddenly. But he attacked the dragon again. This time he wanted to finish it off as quickly as possible. He flew towards it to get close, and the dragon tried to knock him down using its tail, but Aaron had anticipated it. He landed on a support disc he had created himself. Literally, the guy was standing in midair. The children couldn't believe this was magic too, but this was another ability Aaron had, unrelated to his main magic. It was revealed that a certain type of human possesses rare powers inherited from their ancestors, very distinctive and considered something close to a bloodline or dark magic. So it turned out Aaron had other abilities besides magic that only manifest in times of danger. This ability was called magical convergence, meaning he could concentrate all magic into a single point and then transform it into a physical mass. Besides, he used it like a disc and flew it in the air. Aaron increased the power of his sword and struck the dragon's head with another shock strike, finally hitting the black dragon in the neck. Carol couldn't believe the sword had pierced the thick skin, and Sophia had known Aaron was capable from the start. But Aaron was exhausted, unable to stand on his feet. Selima was very worried about him, afraid he might die. It was impossible for support magic to last with him any longer, especially since he was adding many types of magic to his weapon and also using his own shock spell. Naturally, all these spells drained energy from his body. Selima couldn't believe he intended to defeat the black dragon alone and didn't know how she should help him. She remembered that the strongest members of the Golden Rabbit's team couldn't even scratch the dragon, so even if she thought about helping Aaron, she wouldn't know what to do. The dragon spewed fire essence at Aaron and Selima was horrified, her heart beating rapidly, extremely worried about him. Terror gripped her to the point where her body trembled and her nerves were completely shot. All she could do now was protect the children, which would allow Aaron to focus more on the fight. But the black dragon decided to do things right too. It activated support magic like Aaron, reinforcing its entire body. Aaron found attacks raining down on him like a downpour. Suddenly, he remembered memories from his childhood. At that time he was playing with Oliver and Lona, and the entire city was living in peace and safety, happiness filling the whole place. Until bandits attacked and burned the entire city. The city turned into a cemetery full of corpses. Aaron and Oliver were traumatized for life because the attack happened when they had left the city. When they returned, they found everyone dead, bodies flooding the streets. They kept crying, the two of them, unable to comprehend what had happened. And they buried all the corpses they found scattered in the street. They kept crying, the two of them, unable to comprehend what had happened, and they buried all the corpses they found scattered in the street. Oliver at that time promised he would become much stronger to protect all the people he loved. Aaron also promised he would become very strong so he wouldn't lose anyone he loved, no matter what happened, and he would defend them with all his might regardless of the circumstances. He wouldn't allow anyone to harm them again. Aaron remembered the promise he made to himself as a child and advanced towards the black dragon amidst the fog. deciding to face it one last time with all his might. This time he was prepared to sacrifice his life to save the Golden Rabbit's expedition. Aaron's team was very proud of him. Logan knew he wouldn't give up easily. Selima realized the dragon was using the power of purple fog and could turn it into a weapon to strike Aaron with. This was considered the dragon's strong. Selima couldn't comprehend how Aaron would stand against all this alone. Aaron noticed the power of the purple fog and knew it was a magical power unique to the dragon, similar to the magical convergence ability he possessed. This would increase the dragon's resistance to weakening effects and make his task harder. Moreover, the dragon was hitting him with magical fog from all directions, using a different type of attack each time, meaning it hadn't yet used its true power. It seemed they were heading into an epic battle full of dangers. Aaron said, "Come on, show me everything you've got." The beast struck him with fog again, and Aaron moved swiftly amidst the attack. As soon as he got close, he struck it with the power of a fire bullet and slashed it with his sword, but the blow didn't affect it. He noticed its skin had become thicker than before, and a rain of blows was falling on him from above, so Aaron deflected them quickly before anyone got hurt. The dragon was very stubborn, refusing to die, continuing its assault. Aaron deflected them with the wall, noticing it was very intelligent and kept changing its attack style. Literally, the dragon had become much faster than before. Suddenly, he saw another attack coming from afar and reflected it with the reflective wall before it finished him off. He had prepared another backup barrier in front because this beast was treacherous and could strike from any direction. Everyone was stunned by this terrifying battle. Bernard noticed Aaron was making the dragon run everywhere, but wondered how long their hero could hold out. Selima said Aaron was very strong and could defeat this beast, but he still hadn't managed to land the decisive blow. Aaron deflected all the attacks, moving with incredible speed. He remembered the last time he was with his old team when Derek had deflected the blue fog attacks and Nellie and Lona had helped Oliver confront the dragon. Now he had to perform all their roles alone. He swore he wouldn't leave here until he killed it. He used the active defense move again, leaping into the air, evading the attacks. Carol and Logan watched from afar, knowing the dragon was distracted and didn't know how to kill him. Moreover, Aaron kept his distance from them so it wouldn't attack them. Sophia knew he was protecting them from the start. Even while fighting amidst the fire, he was still thinking of them. Aaron used his last card, merging all the spells, utilizing the power of gates, magical circles that reflected attacks from all directions. Selima couldn't believe he was using parallel magic. Now he would strike with all his spells at once. They realized Aaron was a true professional who knew how to use this technique. Aaron said this was the first time the dragon had been exposed to all these attacks, but it was still alive despite everything that had happened. But Aaron had anticipated this and prepared a surprise, knowing nothing affected this stubborn dragon. He readied a second wave of parallel magic, opening fire on it again from all sides. He had set it up so the attacks would hit it repeatedly at the same time, each time stronger and fiercer than the last. This was an original spell of his merged with magical convergence. Selima saw this technique for the first time in her life. Every 5 minutes she discovered something new about Aaron. Aaron had come close to Nellie's offensive magic, and now he literally didn't need anyone from his old team as he had managed to perform all their duties alone. But the dragon was still going, refusing to die. Aaron knew the dragon was truly at a high level. He remembered when he was in the hero team, they had an additional attacker with them at the time. Aaron decided to use the power of magical convergence on his sword and said to the dragon, "Come on, taste the black blade." The dragon hurled a mass of fire at him, and Aaron struck it with the sacred flash, finally confirming he could perform the role of the entire team. This was the swordsman's power he had dreamed of for so long. He struck the dragon with another shock strike, this time severing the giant's tail. He knew the dragon had sacrificed its tail to save itself and expected move from the boss of the 92nd floor. The dragon used the power of the fog for the second time, and Aaron received the attacks, engaging in a one-on-one duel with it. Here the real battle between them began. Aaron was flying in the air, and his support magic was fading. Selima tried to help him, but her magic wasn't working. Aaron told her he didn't need her support and asked her to focus on protecting the children. Selima was surprised by his reaction and felt she was useless in this battle. She started to take it personally, saying, "Lady, control your hormones a bit. Put your hand in the massacre happening before you." Aaron doubled his power again for the second time, approached the dragon and struck its head amidst the lightning. The dragon took the blow and finally fell to the ground. Everyone rejoiced, thinking the dragon's bones were done for. But the dragon rose again. It still had life in it and didn't want to die, the stubborn creature frankly. Aaron had reached his limit, unable to endure any longer, not knowing what else to do with this animal, to the point where his sword was about to break into 100 pieces. But he noticed the dragon was also weary from the battle. Aaron knew they were both on the verge of collapse. This round would be kill or be killed. Aaron used his full magical power, creating a confinement of black fog. Selima saw his terrifying magical power for the first time and didn't understand what Aaron was doing exactly. Aaron drew out a huge black sword. gathering all the spells into a single sword strike, and attacked the dragon for the last time. The reflective wall activated, reflecting all the attacks, and he moved with insane speed, exactly like lightning. The dragon couldn't even see him before Aaron descended upon it from above with all his might. As soon as Aaron got close, he doubled his shock spell. The entire place exploded from the force of the blow. They found Aaron sitting with his sword atop the dragon's head. No one could believe it, and they cried from overwhelming joy. Finally, Aaron defeated the terrifying black dragon. And here ends the legendary part of our story. If you've made it this far, hit the like button now and subscribe to the channel.